Hello Internet, I'm Ryan Shanahan. Welcome to RecSport Education. Joining me today is Leslie Reiker. And today we're going to be covering principles of Latin and rhythm dancing. Let's go ahead and get started. So to begin with, our technique is going to involve something called Cuban Action. To do this, we need to establish a disconnect from the rib cage and the hips. So standing with our feet side by side, we're going to isolate the rib cage. Then we're going to be using a action that moves the rib cage side to side. So imagine pushing the rib cage side to side. This is going to stretch just a little bit through the lower thoracic spine between the thoracic and lumbar. Now, as you're doing this, some of you are going to feel like tilting your shoulders down. This isn't what we're doing, right? Want to stay level in the shoulders and just side to side. Really good. Okay, let's take it a step further. We're going to take the rib cage, take your sternum and push it out and in, out and in. Let me show you what I'm doing here from the side a little bit. I come out and in and extend and collapse just like so. All right, we're having fun yet? Let's try this in a box. So now we can go forward and back. We can go side to side. I'm going to push it out, go to the side and back and side in a full box. Feel that out. And let's reverse it. All right, and this next exercise is going to be something called NonDigo Motion. Bring your toes together and we're going to isolate our lower body now. Taking your heels, you look at this from the side, I'm going to bring my heels up off the ground, bending my knees. At the same time, I'm going to be scrunching my stomach a little bit. So kind of squeeze your belly button together. At the same time as leaning forward, putting your knees forward and lifting the ankles. And we also want to take this in a circle. So this is the next step, the development from this position. I scrunch my belly button, I bring my knees forward, and I do a little circle in the lower body. And of course, practice that both directions. We'll reverse that. All right, so our next step I think you'll find extremely useful for developing your Cuban action is a step called the Cucaracha. Yes, that's Spanish for cockroach, but I hear down there they're actually quite beautiful. So let's try a beautiful step to the side, side rock, and together, and side rock, and together. Let me tell you what we're doing here. As you step to the side, I'm stepping with the inside edge of the ball of the foot. The next step is to, again, isolating the rib cage, I'm leading from the ribs. So I extend the rib cage to the side as I'm stepping with the inside edge of the ball of the foot and settling with my hip over that leg. I'm going to do the same thing going back the other direction. So again with the rib cage leading, settle with the hip and return to center. We'll try that on both sides. So now we step out with the right foot, inside edge of the ball of the foot, leading from the rib cage, settle over the toe. Going on back the other direction, leading from the ribs, settling with the hips, and coming back together. And that is a cucaracha. Practice this several times so you can get the feeling of how to isolate your rib cage and hips and moving your toe with proper placement. So let's try it several times. Moving to the side, side rock, together. Side rock, and together. Now let's take that side-to-side action forward and back. This is going to be a little more challenging. Again, we're leading from the ribs, and I'm doing a forward rock with my left foot. You can do this with the right foot as well, it doesn't matter. And I'm again stepping on the inside edge of the ball of the foot. This is going to shape my knee towards the inside, which puts my hip back and my rib cage forward. Settle with the hip and rocking back, again leading from the ribs and together. Going backwards, right foot back, leading from the ribs, settle with the hip, leading forward with the ribs, and coming back together. That step is a little exaggerated so that you can see it more clearly, but you'll actually be able to dance this, and this is essentially a salsa basic as well. The next step I'm going to demonstrate is the lock step. This is a very important step for many Latin dances and different patterns you do in those dances. The lock step is a crossing over of one foot in front of the other, turning of the body, and locking behind. You can practice this several times going forward and backwards. First, I'll move towards you on one foot, keeping my toe forward towards the direction I'm moving, and a little bit of action towards the inside edge of the ball of the foot as best you can. This is going to stretch you a little bit, but keeping the back foot at a 90-degree angle and locking behind. And going backwards as well, we step and lock, step and lock. It's normal to move at a slight angle while you're doing this. In order to unlock, we have to unwind the foot slightly or bring it back to a more neutral position. And then we lock in front, and that's going to take me slightly to a diagonal. We want to try this on both sides and speed it up as it gets more comfortable for you. At the same time, practicing your Cuban action, isolating the rib cage from the hip. Now, once that becomes pretty comfortable, you can start transitioning your lock steps from left foot to right foot. So I'm going to start with my left foot forward, and I'll do a lock step with a cha-cha-cha count on one side and then the other. It'll look like this. A cha-cha 1, cha-cha 2, cha-cha 3, and cha-cha 4. Going backwards, cha-cha 1, cha-cha 2, cha-cha 3, and cha-cha 4. Now with the lock step, you're going to want to practice these to the point that you can get very quick with them. The idea is I don't want to place my foot. Instead, if I'm bringing my left foot forward to this position, I actually have to move my body until the foot is where I want it to be. So this is an action from the hip. A little bit of the upper body is in play here as well, but essentially I'm taking my forward hip and moving it back, and that pulls my back foot forward to the place I want it to be in. This also keeps my toe in proper alignment and shifts my back foot to the 90-degree angle automatically. Unwind by taking, again, the front hip backwards, and that moves the foot back to where it was. So I'm pulling from the hip very quickly, and I get to that position I want to be. My feet are directly underneath me, my rib cage is forward, and I have a very nice dance position. And 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, and 6, 7, and 8. Going backwards. 1, and 2, 3, and 4, 5, and 6, 7, and 8. Excellent. All right, that concludes our video on basic technique for Latin and rhythm dancing. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe and share this with a friend. Check out our Patreon page, and I'll see you next time.